All right, welcome to the relationship show. This guy writes his post. He's 32. I'm really confused. Had no problem dating in my 20s, but dating in my 30s has been nothing but I'm not into you and rejection after rejection. He says, "Hi, all. Long story short, in my 20s, I dated a lot casual, long term, etc. I had no problem finding partners. Of course, many dates didn't work out, but I found I had a 40 to 50% success rate, and it was rare I went on more than 3 to 4 dates without something coming up." He says, "I just turned 32 and would really like a long term relationship. However, ever since I've started dating again, I've only been getting rejected. I just came home from another I'm not romantically attracted to you date, and it's probably been like 6 to 7 in a row. I've honestly lost count." So you are getting, well, 6 to 7, you're getting the date. So you're getting past the pickup stage. Now you've got to apply the principles of the dating stage. And look at where you're at right now versus in your 20s. Like, what were people after in their 20s? Well, if you look at it, oftentimes they're just in there for fun, if you will. Whereas like a transition into your 30s, people are looking more towards settling down or having kids or having a family. So things do change when time goes on like that. It's really starting to get me because I have no idea why this is happening. So if you are practicing the same way and like the same values and same questions and same locations as you did in your 20s, it might not convey the same message as like what the other person in their 30s now are wanting out of a relationship. If anything, I'm a better version of who I was in my 20s, yet it seems that some magic button was pressed and that women I find attractive are no longer attracted to me. One thing I would ask is just, are you coming on too strong? It's like if you're attracted to them as you're bringing up, are they like reciprocating? Or are you going on dates with women who already have a high level of interest in you? It's like that's one thing you want to do because it will eliminate so much drama, so many mistakes. You want to qualify her interest and only go on dates with women who have a high level interest in you to start. So, like, if you get her number, seems like she's highly interested, you wait like 3 days and you call her, just give her your first name. Is she excited to hear from you? Can you tell from her tone of voice that she wants to go on a date with you, that she's into you, that she's interested in you? If yes, then set the definite date, location, lock it in, and have fun on the date. If no, if she's like, well, who's this? Like, tell me where we met, like things along that line. Well, what you want to do is just say, end it. Don't set a date in those situations and just move on to someone else who has a higher initial level of attraction to you. The only difference I can think of is that I now date differently. I'm still flirty, but not as overly flirty and sexual as I was in my date around days. Yeah, maybe, but if you're bringing up sex on dates, it can come across as too much too soon. And it's almost like you're trying to bring up sex and therefore you have a highly likelihood of getting sex, and it almost comes across as like a bribe, if you will. And so I would avoid talking about like having sex with her um, on the first few dates. And so I would just set up like kissing her. And so if you're going to, that's not saying like you shouldn't assume you're going to have sex with her, because you should come from that place of assuming that and thinking from the end of mind and setting up scenarios where there's an opportunity for sex. But as far as like setting up with your words, what you want to do on the first few dates is just set up the kiss. Because if you can get like kissing, then the escalation like grows. And then when that escalation grows, that's the best time to ask her to come back to your place. He says, because I'm not looking to just hook up and have sex with people. Maybe that's your clue. So it's like when you were in your 20s, you probably didn't take it too seriously. Now you're thinking, oh, I've got to get a relationship. I'm in my 30s now. What am I doing? Like, I've got to change something. I've got to get into lock her down. And she can feel that. It's like when you approach situations with that outcome and come across too much too soon, it's almost like, well, it just doesn't work. I mean, it's like in most cases, it doesn't work unless she has a very high level of attraction towards you and she's interested in the same thing. And maybe she's been thinking that for a long time. But if you just met this girl, it's like she's approaching the date. Most women approach the dates as like, let's see what happens with this date. And so just approach it as just having fun, and then see if you can lead the relationship to sex and just have fun and repeat and repeat. And then, like, just naturally, the relationship will come. You don't have to force any kind of relationship. And ideally, you want the woman to bring up her feelings and relationships, or further down the line, kids and marriage. You want her to bring that up first, because guys fall in love and attraction much quicker. It's like they see a beautiful woman and they're all already thinking about their whole life together. Whereas women, they might have that initial interest, but it's like they approach it like, let's see where this goes. And it takes them longer to commit to their feelings, if you will. Ironically, when I was looking for hookups, things seems a lot easier. And a lot of long-term relationships sprung up from these hookups. Dude, I mean, you know what to do. It's like I see in these posts that people know what the answer is. They almost just need some kind of validation. Or it's maybe it's because they just don't believe that they can do it or something like that. It's like they know intellectually like what to do, but they don't know, almost have like the belief in themselves, that they can pull it off. So it's like they intellectually know, but they don't actually do it. And it's like a lot of things and a lot of situations that we set up come from a belief, whether we can do something or we can't. So it's like we'll automatically put ourselves in these situations that already were set up for success or were set up for failure. And it's almost comes from making a decision from a point or of you believe it's going to work or you believe it's not going to work. Has anyone had similar experience? I genuinely don't know what's going on, and it's kind of starting to F with my self esteem. Yeah, I'm sure it does. It's like if you get a couple dates with these women and then they just blow you off, it's like, what does that say about you and your value on dates and how you show up on dates? It's got to take a toll on your confidence. But what the clues that I'm getting from this post is that you are trying to lock her into a relationship and you're probably bringing too much too soon. And another thing I would do, you're not really mentioning it here, but it's a good um, tip, if you will, is to not be like an open book to her. And so you don't want to just reveal every single thing about you, about what you're doing, about your career. It's like if she asks you questions, like answer with a few words or maybe a sentence or so, but don't go into like the really big details, or don't lead that to something else and then something else and then something else. And then all of a sudden you've told her your whole life story. It's like you don't want to say that. You want her to dig for information. It's like that's one of the most fun things that women do. They're very good with their words and getting like information from their words. Like women speak around 4 times as many words as men per day. And so what you want to do is almost like build that mystery, leave that sense of mystery and challenge for her to discover for herself. And if she can discover that about her, about things about you for herself, it almost becomes like a fun game, if you will. And so do that. Don't approach it too seriously. Just focus on having fun on dates, not the relationship. And see if that works for you, because those are proven tips to work. And so go for them, execute them, and then come from a place of believing they will work. And oftentimes it will.